when we talk about overdose prevention sites and services, I think the greatest value, and we've seen this in Moss Park, where they've reversed well over 100 overdoses and saved more than 100 lives through the work that they commenced in the summer. But what we're talking about are services that are provided which are very low barrier. So
we must put measures into place to ensure this does not happen. We are turning to you, the Board of Health and Toronto Public Health, to provide us with a comprehensive plan with clear guidelines on how to prevent overdoses at our sites. We are calling on you to create and ensure the implementation of such a plan that would include, at a very minimum, the following.
The phone rings because I don't know if my mother's overdosed. Her drug use has actually spiraled since losing my brother, and her drug use is not something that she's ever gotten help for, and it's not something that safe injection sites, that harm reduction services, that naloxone can even save. It's a mix of an opiate and a benzo use. The benzos as in sedatives and sleeping pills and whatever pretty much the doctor she can get her hands on from the doctors. And I am praying for the city to do something. There needs to be a mass shift about how we view substance use, because I have a mother, I've pretty much accepted that she is going to die of overdose. It is how I will lose her, but the only solace I have is that her physical health is so bad she requires oxygen at home. So that's the only thing I have, is knowing that she will be on oxygen, which will help her respiratory system not crash, but there's still that risk.
On site. And many of our guests come from that shelter as well. And they have no naloxone on site and no naloxone training. So does the proposal for the Ministry of Health expanded availability of naloxone ensure that people, which means not the province or any level of government, can determine what formulation best meets their needs? Naloxone kits do not have rescue breathing masks, the ones that are distributed. There is nothing in the proposal that you're seeing today in the motion before you for pop-up sites and additional resources to support additional supervision.
Preamble, the chair said, it's the peers that know how to solve the situation. Start listening. We've been telling you forever and ever and ever. We're here to save lives and save everyone's life. Anyway, it's a no-brainer, and it's costing you a fortune the way you're going about things. I don't know why. Because you've been publishing in the newspaper to give chest impressions for drug overdose. It doesn't work. It's the worst thing you could do.
Responsive. The first thing to do is to call 911. Make sure that their airway is open. Make sure that when you're going to be giving them rescue breaths, that those breaths are actually going to be able to go through. Make sure they don't have a bunch of vomit or food in their mouth, for example. And then what you're going to do is give rescue breaths. Even if you don't have the naloxone with you, rescue breathing can keep someone alive for a long time. You want to insert this part of the mask into their mouth, and then you want to put your mouth on this part of the mask and breathe. It's given through intramuscular injection, so that means a needle into the muscle. So you would pop off the cap here, and you drop the naloxone. You have to make sure at the end that there's no bubbles. You want to give it in the middle third of the thigh. So you take your alcohol swab the area down, and after you've done that, you can give the injection into the middle of the thigh. Give 2 to 5 minutes for the medication to take effect. If after about 5 minutes it hasn't, then you want to give another injection of the naloxone. You want to give the second dose. In that time, it's very, very important to continue rescue breathing.
She anesthesiologist overdoses you on fentanyl because it's a short-acting narcotic. The only thing keeping you alive is ventilations. When your surgery's over, they stop the drug flow and keep you ventilated until you start breathing adequately on your own. They certainly don't be giving chest compressions because 1 in 6 patients taken to the hospital is in need of respiratory assist. So they're not only saving drug overdoses when they're giving them rescue breathing, they're saving anybody else. Of all the years I've had first aid in Boy Scouts, I've always had my first aid, advanced first aid, because I worked for the Lansing Force, 500 miles from anywhere. I've never, of all the people that I've done first aid, I haven't run across a cardiac arrest patient yet. I don't know how many people I've treated first aid, how many I've given rescue breathing for the hundreds of causes of respiratory emergency. Thanks a lot. Save yourself some money and do the proper thing. These people know what's going on in the world. Thanks a lot.
Any questions? Seeing none, I'll say thanks, Gary. Appreciate your input.
And you didn't need data, we were giving it to you by memorials, by our grief, by sitting on your committees, by coming to your Board of Health meetings constantly, and we're over it. This city needs a public health emergency. We want fire. We want fire from all of you. Political leadership, in the news, every day. We want conference calls every day, and we don't want it on our backs anymore. Because we are so traumatized, and you're traumatizing us even more. How many people would be dead if we weren't in that park? We said 32 with naloxone. We've reversed over 50 overdoses with oxygen and just being there alone. That's over 80 overdoses that have happened in a tent. What the hell is going on in the rest of the city? More people are going to die. We are in a state of emergency. People are being poisoned and the drugs are so damn toxic. So while you go and you say we're going to make a motion for treatment, what treatment?
Prepared. They all have naloxone. The most important thing when they get on site is actually ventilation as well as naloxone. But I think what we heard loud and
well, we were told today that, for example, because that precise example was used as to whether other first responders should have naloxone, and it was said that that was not the case, that the priority, for example, when the fire department are often the first to arrive, should be on ventilation, as Dr. Yaffe just said. But let me just say this about the